people use adjectives, they tend to use them to describe neutral or positive descriptors, whereas phrases that are used as prepositional or clausal phrases tend to be used to distance the subject from the descriptor. And I don't believe that we should have to be distanced from our disabilities, and that's why I prefer identity first language.
Crippled, maybe? I really don't like that one. And that was a common term where I grew up. I didn't like crippled, and I didn't like, this is more just the children that I grew up with. You know how they sometimes call you four eyes when you have glasses? So they would call me four legs, which is like,
wow,
that's really rude.
Well, one of my pet peeves is retarded. And I think it's because of the way it evolved and how people kind of just carelessly use it now. I mean, the word itself was developed to measure intelligence, yes, but it was only as part of an intelligence scale. Like, you weren't called that on a daily basis by people in the street, where now it's kind of just like, you know, everything. That word's kind of used for everything. I mean, my friends do it. They're guilty of it. Like, they'll be like, oh, that movie was so retarded that we saw last night. It made no sense, when that's really not what the word is supposed to be. And really, that word has become a condescending name and label for people specifically with intellectual disabilities.
I really don't like words such as illness or disorder or suffering or special needs or mental illness in particular, unless a particular individual happens to identify that way for him or herself. I would respect that identification, but when referring to the community as a whole, I would prefer that our conditions not be associated with suffering or defects.
Language should build people up. That we should choose our words carefully, because we never know, what someone is going through. And a lot of times, disabilities are not really visible. I have a visible disability. I use crutches. So people see me and they know right away that I have, something that's different. But not everyone who maybe has a neurological disorder or something like that, it's not visible at first. So I think the best thing that we can do is use our words well, so that at the end of the day, people feel good about themselves and feel better about who they are as people. Think about what you're saying and think about the way that other people perceive, how you describe them or just how you interact with them. And try to remember that disabled people are not any different than people who don't have disabilities, and they just want to be a part of a community too.